Imagine closing a $20,000 deal without hearing, I need to think about it or let me get back to you. Sounds impossible, right? It's not. I've closed multi-seven figures in commission and trained teams that have generated tens of millions more. Here's what I discovered. Elite closers, they don't overcome objections, they prevent them. I'm Jack Sumner, and this framework that I'm going to walk you through eliminates 96% of objections before they surface. This isn't about clever responses or rebuttals. It's about rewiring your prospect's thinking pattern from the first minute of the call. I'm going to share with you the exact psychological framework that I've used to build multi-seven-figure businesses. This isn't theory. It's the same system that I've taught to thousands of closers. And if you're tired of hearing I need to think about it, get ready to transform how you sell forever. All right, so I first heard of this concept that I'm going to share with you from a guy named Bob Proctor. And he talked about this thing called a paradigm. And when I first heard it, I was like, what are you talking about? And he said that a paradigm is a person's habitual way of thinking and behaving that leads to their life outcomes. And that all humans created these paradigms that we live in, including you and myself, and they shape the way that we live. And these paradigms are ultimately created from the way that we understand and interpret our experiences in our life. These paradigms ultimately create our reality. So if you can change your beliefs, you can change the outcomes and the results that you get. So understanding this, that we can change someone's paradigm, give them a new way of thinking, and help them create a better outcome for their life. That is ultimately what sales is, and that is how you overcome objections even before you get them. You pre-handle them. And this is how this works. So for most inexperienced salespeople, they get to the end of the call, they drop the price, and what happens? It feels like they get into this confrontation or this objection war. But the truth is, objections stand on the foundation of paradigms that are actually keeping your buyers from buying. So if someone tells you that they need to think about it, they don't really mean they need to think about it. What they mean is, what if this doesn't work? What if I'm not ready? It's too risky. I can't afford it. I don't have the time. I'll try myself first. I'll start later. These are all examples of objections that are hidden or standing on paradigms that don't align with the outcomes that they want. And the way that we handle these objections before they come up at the end of the call is by offering these paradigm shifts, aka a new way of seeing things. For example, if I'm a farmer and I only believe that I could sell crops locally, that is my reality. Even if there's evidence of hundreds of other farmers selling crops nationwide, that farmer is going to be limited and stuck only selling to local markets unless they make a change. And so in sales, eliminating objections before they come up is all about the transference of the right way, the proper way of thinking. And if we give them the right paradigm or the right way of thinking, these objections have no support. And ultimately, at the end of the call, when we go to close the deal, there is no objections. Back to the farmer, right? So if the farmer, if I ask the farmer this, if I'm like, hey, where does the belief that you can only sell crops locally come from? He may say that crops will be bad or expire by the time that they're transported or shipped out of town. My question to him would be, what if I could cut the transportation time down 85% or whatever I could do? That may be my question. And he may see it from a different angle and immediately be open to something else. Another example would be if you take away the belief that someone doesn't have the time to do something by asking them if they've considered the reason that they don't have time is because they haven't prioritized a skill that's ultimately the reason that they don't have the time. So this is a new way of thinking. And you may be asking, this is confusing. How do I even identify these beliefs? And the first step is you need to be doing personal development. If you watch the first video that I put on my channel, I talk about you are the who. The who is you. And if you're improving yourself and you hop on a sales call and you're noticing and working on the gap in where you want to be in your life, where you are and where you want to be, there's a gap. If you're working on that, you're actively going to be able to help other people do the same. And so The way you get to these beliefs is by asking a series of questions that I'm going to give you. And this is all done during this discovery phase of the call. And this discovery phase is at the beginning. So as you do it, as you ask these questions, you're going to get answers that give you the real problem they're having. Then this is going to give away their current paradigm and the shift that needs to happen. Here's an example. Okay, I'll just run one for you, a little role play. If I asked somebody, I said, what have you done to get to your desired outcome?
Well, I haven't really tried anything.
Well, what slowed you from taking action?
Just I didn't have the money and I couldn't get started.
How do you mean?
Couldn't afford it. Money's been tight. Bills are too high.
Have you considered that money is tight because you haven't acquired the skills yet? Pause. What we're doing right here is we're tackling the false paradigm that money is the reason that they haven't got their desired outcome. And the real problem isn't the money, it's that they haven't got started.
What do you mean by that?
Is it possible that if you had the skills, the money wouldn't be a problem?
Yeah, I could see that.
So if the money isn't really the problem, it's a symptom, and the problem is acquiring the skills, what kept you from doing whatever you can to get the money to start building the skills? This is where the real problem should come out.
I thought I could do it on my own. I've been too comfortable. I just don't believe in myself.
Do you see how that way of thinking has put you in a position where you're not making as much money as you want? So I put together a 4-pillar training here that gives you the questions that you need to ask to start uncovering these limiting beliefs. We got current scene, problem awareness, solution awareness, and consequence. I'll take you down the questions that you need to ask in each of these. And if you check off the boxes, what's going to happen is you're going to start uncovering real problems that they have. So current scene, that means like, what are they doing right now? What are they doing? How long? Why that? Next is problem awareness. What's the problem? What's the cause of the problem? How long have they had it? How long have they been dealing with it? They've been dealing with it for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they haven't done anything about it. That's something that we're going to lean on. What impact has this problem had on their life? Like, has it affected your relationships? Has it affected your ability to be happy, to travel, to live the life that you want? That's a big problem, and that's something we're going to lean on. Next, solution awareness. This is where we start to raise their awareness on what the solution to these problems are. What have they done in the past to get to their desired state? If something, why didn't it work out for you? If nothing, why not? What else do they need? For some people, they needed special attention. Some people need more coaching. Some people need accountability. What did they need? What else did they not get? Next, what does that get them? Tangible and emotional. If it makes them more money, does it get them a new car? Does it get them a new house for their family? Emotionally, how does that new house make you feel? Does it make you feel more worthy? Does it make you feel more confident? Feel like you're providing for your family? These are big things that we are going to uncover and lean on in the sales process. And the last step is the consequence. What happens if you do nothing? What happens if nothing changes and you don't start taking action and you don't commit to advanced training? What happens? What are you missing out on? What are you leaving behind? What is your future self begging you to start today that you're not doing? And when you dig in on that, this is where you're going to uncover all of these objections that come up. And this is where you're going to uncover and dig up objections that would come up at the end of the call. But if you check off these 4 boxes, you are going to be in a really good position. And if you get an objection at the end of the call, guess what? It's not going to be hard to overcome. You're going to easily be able to handle it. Guys, that is it for the training. Remember, current scene, problem, solution, consequence. Very simple, very easy. Also remember that a new paradigm equals a new reality. Think about that in your own life. If you want access to this PDF here where you can look at these questions, it's in the description. You don't need your email. You can just straight download it. As always, if you want to work with me on a bigger level, click the link in the description. What we do is give you personalized training to help you see success in the remote sales space. I appreciate you watching. And as always, if you enjoyed this, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.